Put down the hammer, and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show, yeah. Real estate info galore, so listen up, don't miss it. Hosted by the Savvy Landlord, oh.
In which I help you increase your cash flow on the properties that you own. I help you increase your, again, how many own rental property right now? One of the reasons that I've been successful in my business is because, well, let me ask you a question. By the way, a ground rule. I ask questions. If you look away from me, John, when I'm asking a question, I'm going to ask you the next question, okay? All right. And I want you to ask me questions. If I say something and you got a question about it, please raise your hand and say, Jeffrey, back up. Let's talk about that last idea you just shared. I can share a lot in the next hour, but it's more important to me that whatever I share, you can actually use it, and it makes a difference. Especially if you already got rental property, and if you're thinking about getting some, please take notes. Everybody got something to take notes with? I know a couple of you here just for the entertainment factor. I'm not as good of an entertainer as my friend, my DJ friend back there. But I'm going to do my best job to try to keep you entertained and engaged during this presentation. Is that okay? But I do want you to take notes. Because when it's all said and done, I don't want you to just remember, oh, it was this guy who had the nerve to call himself Mr. Landlord. He was a little bit entertaining, but you don't really remember anything about what I said. Okay? I don't want it to be like a church service where you say to your friend afterwards, yeah, that was good, and they ask you, well, what did you talk about? I don't know, but he was good. All right, so I want to help you I'm going to give you 4 to 6 things that any landlord can do to increase the cash flow on your property. One of the reasons that I've been successful as a rental property owner is I want to get more than what the average rental owner gets. For example, what's that name? Melanie? Oh, don't get nervous. It's okay, Melanie. How much might a rental price, how much might be the rent on a property that you're owning or managing? Okay, don't make it complicated, Melanie. Just give me a figure. $850. Thank you, Melanie. I appreciate it. So, during the course of a year, if she got $850 every month, how much might she get in a year if everything goes right? About $10,000? That'll make it easy for us from a math standpoint. $10,000. I mean, it's a little bit more than that, but roughly around $10,000. Here's my point. What I attempt to do is I want to get, on average, more than $10,000. So that when I have a bump in the road, when I have an unexpected, really it shouldn't be any unexpected because it's another seminar. When I have an unexpected expense, a vacancy, somebody, heaven forbid, doesn't pay me, little things like that happens from time to time. When those things happen, I want to have a buffer, a cash flow buffer. Does that make sense? So my goal with every rental that I have is to get an extra $1,000, $2,000, or $3,000 more than what the typical rental property owner would receive on the same property. So instead of getting $10,000 a year in typical fashion that Melanie would get from one of these rentals, I want to get $11,000, $12,000, or $13,000. Everybody with me? So my goal in teaching you today is to help you also to get more than what the traditional rental property owner gets. Is that okay? That's the goal. And why do we want to do that? So when problems pop out, surprises pop up, we're still ahead of the game. Does that make sense, Alex? Okay. In fact, let me ask you a question, Alex. Is that all right? Yeah. Okay. You got a rental property? Yeah. So I need to go back up to the VIP section? Is that what it is? Who over here has a rental property? Okay. You got a rental property. Here's my question for you. What's one way you determine how much the rent is going to be to begin with?
Ask around the neighborhood.
Ask around the neighborhood. What other rental property owners are charging? Okay, that's fine. What's your name? Joanne. Okay, so Joanne, everybody heard that up here? She asked around to other rental property owners. Perhaps she looks on Craigslist. Maybe she looks in the newspaper. Maybe she just calls up some of her friends. By the way, another point, side note. I also asked Stephen what's one of the things that he hopes you to accomplish from coming today. I already mentioned education. Another thing he said was to connect with each other. One of the ways I'm able to be successful in my business is I'm constantly connecting with other people who can add to my success, even other landlords in my area. So even when I'm trying to fill a vacancy, not only can I ask them how much they're charging, but I can ask them, if you ever get any overflow of quality applicants, send them my way. And I do the same thing. If I got some extra people that I maybe don't meet my particular needs, but they're looking for a property other than the kind that I have. They're quality individuals, but I just don't have what they're looking for. I'll send them to some of my other friends, landlord buddies, so to speak. Also, I'm able to go on vacation more easily now. Because I got individuals now that I specifically hire to help me manage my properties. But before that stage, I simply call up a landlord buddy and say, hey, can you take any calls that we need to get handled during the time I'm on vacation for the next 2 to 3 days? And by having a landlord buddy, it made it a whole lot easier to do that. So they can come in handy in so many ways. So back to what was the person's name again? Joanne. Okay, she said she asked other landlords, right? I'm going to make a suggestion to you, Joanne. Before you make your final decision on how much the rent is going to be, don't just ask other landlords. Start asking prospective residents. Start asking prospective residents. And for those of you that are taking notes today, which you all are, right? Yeah, wait, just make me feel better. Say, yeah, Jeffrey, I'm taking notes. Even if you haven't started yet, just make me feel good. All right? And I'm going to make it real clear, too, during this presentation. We're going to kind of do an ABC formula to help you remember the ideas. Is that all right? So we're going to start with the letter, guess what? A. Ask. But the point I'm making today is not just ask other landlords. What am I suggesting? Who do I suggest you ask? Prospective residents. Here's the way you ask it. I'll give you a couple of ways to ask. One, I'll say to the person, they call me up and they ask me the question, how much is the rent? Even though it might be in the advertisement or something, they still ask, how much is it? My response is, I'll be glad to help you out. I'm one of the rental managers. How much are you paying right now at your current home or apartment? How much are you paying right now at your current home or apartment? See, I want to know how much they're paying, because if they're paying $900 right now, Melody, that probably tells me what? They can afford it. Not only can they afford it, but they're probably willing to spend $900 again. Because most people, my experience has been, most people aren't trying to go down when they're going to another rental in price. They're looking for something a little bit better, and they're not looking to go down. I know there are a few people that are trying to downsize, but for the most part, residents aren't really looking to downsize, for the most part. So if I know that they're used to paying $900, they probably can afford $900, and they're willing to spend $900, what am I thinking in my mind? $900 is a good price. So guess what I would say to the person when they told me they're paying $900 right now? You turned the thing over. You didn't want me to ask you any more questions. He thinks he's smart. Okay. That's John. Everybody knows that's John. It's too late now. All right. So if they tell me I'm looking to spend $900, what's my response to them? You got yours turned around too. Brad, how much is it? What would you tell them if they said I'm paying $900 right now? What would you say to them?
What? What would I say?
Yeah, the question they asked me, how much is the rent?
Yeah.
I asked them, how much you paying? They say $900. Now, how do I respond to their question?
$1,000.
$1,000. You're greedy on me, Brad. I'm going to be entertaining, but I'm going to be real world with you, okay? If they tell me they're paying $900 right now, Melody, my response would be this. Close. I'm not going to say that's how much, but I say I have something within your price range. Okay, that's worth writing down. I've got something within your price range. That's a magic question, folks. I've been able to add thousands of dollars to my cash flow just by asking that question, listening to them, and responding by saying I've got something within your price range. Now, I may ask it this way. How much are you looking to spend on the next home or apartment that meets your needs? How much are you looking to spend? How you doing, sir?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Glad you can make it today.
Well, I'm looking to make money, not spend.
Okay, all right. Well, we're talking about making money right now. How much are you looking to spend on the next home or apartment to meet you? Because then they may tell me I'm looking to spend about $925. What would I say to them if they said they're looking to spend $925? Scott, what would I say to them? I've got the same response. I've got something within your price. If they said $600, what would I say? No, Joanne. She wants to get $850. If the person says $625, what would I say to them? Sorry, I don't have something in your price range. It's real simple. I either have something in your price range or I don't. Has everybody got that? Any questions on that? When do I quote the price? Not yet. When do I quote it?
After they see the place.
After they see at the first showing. At the first, how many people do you show your property to at one time? What is it, Toby? Many as you can? I used to think that too. If it gets too many though, it becomes kind of tough, to be honest with you. But I do want to show it to more than one person. 2, 3, 4 people. I want a sense of competition. Okay, because when they get there, I want them looking at each other. I want the focus to be on each other. I don't want the focus to be on the house. The house is in great shape, but if they're focused on each other, they're ready to fill out the application because they think something's going on. I don't know, any of you go to a restaurant, if there's no cars in the parking lot, do you start to have questions? I do. And maybe I'm the only one, okay? But I start to have questions if there's no cars there. Same thing. If they come to my rental and there's 2 other people there waiting to fill out an application, they're thinking, oh, this place must be worth something. Hire a friend, a neighbor to show up at the same time. You think I'm joking? I'm very serious. All right? So, at the first showing, when there's 2 or 3 people there, one person said, I'm looking to spend, or I'm paying right now, $900. Somebody else said, only $650. What do I quote the price when all 3 show up? $925, you're getting greedy on me. If I say $925, how does this person feel, the $900? Kind of misled. Because when you tell people I've got something within your price range, they're kind of thinking in their mind that's what it's going to be. So I don't want to scare away the 900 person or make them feel like I've misled them. Because Melanie, wouldn't you be happy to have the 900? Because you only got one in. $850. So I would quote $900. Yeah, see, I've been hanging around with some of you too long. And it's only been 10 minutes. We got a ways to go. So I would quote $900. How does the 900 person feel? Feels good. How's the 925 feel? Feels like a winner. This is better than what I had in mind. Where's the application, Mr. Taylor? They don't even want to see the rest of the house. It's already a good deal for them. I made them feel like a winner. Side business tip for you. Make people feel like a winner whenever you can. The more you make residents feel like a winner, the more successful you will be, in my opinion, as a rental property owner. One way to make people feel like a winner, when they come to take a look at the property, have a move-in basket sitting on the kitchen counter with some toiletries that you got from Walmart for $5 that was on sale for $29.95 after Christmas. Go to the Dollar Tree and get a plunger, put in the middle of it, put a pink ribbon on it. I'm serious. Because that's a nice way of saying what? Welcome, and also take care of this place. It's on you, okay? Again, you think I'm joking, I'm very serious. Back to my point. And by the way, when they see this, it's like the question is, well, what is that for? What do I say to them when they say, what is that basket for? It's for you. If you're approved today, it's for you. Okay, so $900. Now, here's the thing. How much more did I get than what Melanie got? $50 more. Is that a pretty good deal?
Yeah.
All because I let them do the talking first and not me. Is everybody with me? So even though Joanne had an excellent response, when she finds out from what other landlords are offering. My statement to you today is don't just find out what other landlords are charging. Ask prospective residents how much they're looking to spend. In fact, let me give you another business principle. Give people what they want instead of what you want to give them. Give people what they want instead of what you want to give them. Any questions on that idea before I move to idea number 2? By the way, just so you know, in my advertisement, I use a price range. $8.50 to $9.75, $5.95 to $7.25, $11.50 to $12.95. So in my advertisement, there's a price range there. In case you're wondering, well, wait a minute. Well, what do you put in the ad if you're asking people this question? Has everybody got me on that? Yes, ma'am? What are they comfortable paying? Okay, she's saying, all right, they're paying $900, but maybe they're leaving because it's too high. And that may be the case. I find that's not the case more so than it is. But I hear you. But that's why I'll ask the question, how much are you looking to spend? So I'll ask them both questions. Not just how much you're paying, but how much you're looking to spend. Then they tell me if it's really not, if $900 is more than what they want to pay, they'll tell me when I ask the other question. Okay? You with me? All right. From a fair housing standpoint, because I don't want you to get in trouble from a fair housing standpoint. When did I say I quote the price? First showing. After that first showing, guess what? That's the price. I don't change up after that. So I'm not doing this strategy every single day of the week. Are you with me? All I'm basically saying to you is before you set your price, do some market research and let the prospective residents be part of your market research. So don't make this more complicated than it is. You with me? And once it's set, that's the price. Because I'm not going to come back tomorrow and all of a sudden it's going to be $950 because somebody else answers the question in a different way. Everybody got that? All right. So now, I got $50 more a month in, was it Melanie? Which means in a year, how much extra did I get on this rental? Extra $600. This is buffer. Back to my original premise for today, I want to give you some buffer money. So now when an unexpected expense, that water heater goes out that may have cost her a couple of $100, she still comes out ahead of the game. Does that make sense? All right, idea number 2. We're going to go to the letter B. There you go. Thank you. I got to see who's with me on this. What's your name, sir? Tyler? Own rental property? 1. Okay, that's all I'm talking about. Okay. So, you're competing against, what's your name? Travis. He's got a property right down the street. What's one way you can compete with Travis on your rental? You don't want it to sit empty long, and you know he's got another rental right down the street. What's one way you can be competitive?
Better pictures.
Better pictures? Good. Answer. Updated bathroom, kitchen. Now, in terms of price, what's one way you can compete?
Lower price.
Lower price? Now, and that's what some landlords do. Some landlords lower the price and get a little bit less rent to be competitive. I'm going to suggest just the opposite. I'm going to suggest that you increase the rent. Bigger rent by 5%. By 5%. However, I'm going to suggest to you that you actually, was it Travis? Tyler, I'm sorry. That you lower, guess what? The deposit. By 50%. Lower the deposit by 50%. So, in the case of a $900 rental, instead of $900 for the rent, I'm going to ask for how much? $945. But instead of asking for a $900 deposit, which is the traditional amount that most landlords do, I'm going to just ask for how much? $450. Now, what's my competitive selling point? Not that I got a higher price, cheaper to get in, lower move-in costs, lower deposit, special on the deposit, half off. That's what I'm marketing. Now, do any of you see a disadvantage in using this strategy? You're shaking your head. How come, sir?
Well, it gives you a competitive advantage because they're not putting down as much initial money.
They're not putting out as much initial money, but got to spend more time betting, not necessarily, but possibly. Any other disadvantage? If they move out, and if they move out early, you got less to protect yourself. Now, I don't know if I have enough time to talk about how you keep people longer. Stephen kind of alluded to the fact that I've got a program which is they're 3-star residents. My average resident, by the way, stays with me a minimum of 6 years. Minimum of 6 years. And that's pretty good considering some of my properties are apartments, and apartments normally have a shorter rental span. Single families tend to stay longer, but even with apartments, I'm able to keep people for a minimum of 6 years. Now, if you're having trouble keeping people in your property, this particular strategy is not for you. You need my other seminar on resident retention, which I may be able to get to an idea or two before we finish. But if you don't have any problem with people staying, this is an awesome idea. What's your question, ma'am?
Are your people paying their rent, or are some of them on Section 8?
Are my people paying the rent on Section 8?
Or are they on Section 8?
So 15% of my residents are on Section 8. To answer your question. So now, sometimes people think the disadvantage, and it kind of alluded to with the person who made the statement, if they leave kind of soon. Because if they leave kind of soon, I don't have as much to protect myself with. If they stay for a year, though, that goes out the window. Because in a year's time, how much extra rent did I receive?
$90.
Over the year, how much extra rent?
$540.
540? All right? Just for the purpose of math, let's just say 500. To go with my 450, meaning I got over $950 to cover myself. How much did you get under the traditional method to cover yourself? 900. Your deposit was 900. I got an extra 45 every month. Plus my 450 deposit, so I'm actually ahead of the game. Everybody with me on that? So you don't have to worry that you're getting lower deposit because you actually come out ahead. Not only that, if it's a duplex or higher, my property is now worth more than yours. How come? Because it's based on income as part of the way they determine the value of a property. And this is just the first year. Every year from this point forward, guess who's getting more money? Me! All because of the way I structured the deal. And I made it easier for the people to want to move in. In fact, some of you, I know you're somewhat timid. You say, Jeffrey, will people go for this? Sure they will. In fact, I'm not advertising higher rent again. I'm advertising what? Here's one way you can test this strategy. When you're doing your lease signing, which I call the new resident orientation. So Melanie, can I continue to use you in my example for today? Or you rather me use? Okay, what's your name, sir? Brady. So we'll start using Brady now instead of Melanie. Brady, when you do your lease signing, let's say you did step number 1, my first suggestion, and you asked the prospective people. And they came up with $900 was the price you came up with. So now you're already $50 ahead of the game, right? When you're doing the lease signing, in fact, let me give you a preface here. The purpose of my lease signing is to get residents to help me customize the lease.
Investor Weekend is not far off, with over 10 information sessions to increase your portfolio. Log on to www.investorweekend.com. Whether you are a seasoned investor or never purchased a property before, you don't want to miss the Investor Weekend. Join us for a powerful, knowledge-packed weekend with over 10 informational sessions that are bound to enlarge your real estate investments. You will hear from the best national and local real estate investors that will share practical and relevant experiences with you, the investor. There will be several networking sessions to connect with other like-minded people for potential funding, partnerships, and yes, hot deals. Go to www.investorweekend.com. Did you know we meet once a month for the Landlord Lunch Meeting? The third Wednesday of every month. Go to landlordlunch.com.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.
I got all my cash out. I owe $300,000 on it. I'm getting offers for over $500,000. And I probably won't